Hello, everybody. It's Elena Barbera. So happy to see you here on this Friday night, October, 11th already. Can you believe it? We are under a month to the election. America is completely burning. We have so much going on, election related and not election related, although it really all feels election related right now, doesn't it? So good to be back with you. I was out sick last week. All better now. All right, let's just get right to it. Kamala Harris last night held a town hall with Univision. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because we are all already so sick of this woman. She is absolutely insufferable. One of the clips that really stands out for me, and it was a bigger conversation where she said a lot of gobbledygook and lies about the border. There is one clip that I really want to show you immediately and have a response to. Hold on a sec. Here we go. Just get right to it.
I will put my record up against anyone in terms of the work I have always done and will always do to ensure we have a secure border.
All right, here we go again. She's actually just gaslighting the American people and saying that that she has done everything to keep our border secure. She talked a lot about how Trump killed the border bill, you know, that one that was just a mass amnesty bill. It did nothing to stem illegal immigration. It was just going to let more people in a little more orderly way that we can put on welfare and just have them run free through the country, even though they're unvetted. But the fact that the first thought that came to my head when I saw her say what she just said, that she is the border candidate, that she's going to take care of it, are the same people I think about every single day. I don't go a day without thinking about Jocelyn Nungray, the 12-year-old girl from Houston who was raped and murdered by two Venezuelan illegal immigrants, I should say, legal aliens. I should clarify even further. I don't go a day without thinking about that little girl being tortured under a bridge, raped, and then strangled to death, and then having her body thrown in a ravine, and what her family must still feel. These stories stick with me. Rachel Morin, the mother of 5 who was raped and murdered. Laken Riley, the Georgia nursing student. Scott Miller, the 62 or 63-year-old father who was killed in a car wreck by an illegal alien who was driving a semi without a license. I think about Travis Wolf, the 12-year-old boy who was killed in a car wreck by a drunk illegal alien driving intoxicated. Like, the list goes on, but these people, I truly do think about them every single day. Like, you can see me commenting their names a lot in Twitter. If there's something about it that really kills me, that Kamala has never mentioned their names. She doesn't care that Americans are being raped and murdered and robbed. Or how about the wolf packs in New York City of the illegals, that they're descending upon victims in packs? I mean, making them completely defenseless. You can't defend yourself against 12 armed men. What are you going to do? And she doesn't care. And for the parents of those and the families of those victims to see her stand there and just flat out lie with such disregard for American lives made my skin, it just didn't even make my skin crawl. It made my blood boil. And it should make your blood boil too. I'm so exhausted watching this administration destroy the American people, destroy our country. But, you know, in typical Kamala fashion, she's completely incompetent. And even the terrible answers that she gives, she can't give on her own. She can't even come up with bad answers, never mind good ones. So Telemundo apparently, Univision. I'm sorry, that was so white of me. I was confusing them all. They apparently accidentally showed her teleprompter. Look at this clip. I'm going to leave the volume off so you don't have to listen to her for the 4 seconds of the clip. I'll spare you. See here? You can see as they zoom in behind her, there's a teleprompter. Now, this is a town hall. This is supposed to be an open dialogue with citizens who may or may not vote for her. So were all the questions pre-planned, scripted? Was this whole thing staged? Apparently, if there's a teleprompter, who's behind the teleprompter? Who wrote all the answers for Kamala? This woman can't tell you what she had for lunch. Never mind answer a question with any sort of brains and substance for the American people. I can't wrap my head around how whatever. I don't want to complain about things we've all been talking about for months, but I will say this. The past few weeks, they've let her out. They've opened the gates. Yeah, putting her out, town hall, interviews, mainstream media. She's all over the place all of a sudden, right? Because I'm assuming because she had gotten so much heat, but she's just absolutely saying nothing and destroying her own campaign. And I can't help but to wonder why. Why are they letting her do this? They know it's terrible for her. They know it's not working. She's sinking in the polls. She called herself the underdog last week. Remember when her teleprompter ran out and she was like, 32, I think it was 32 days to the election. And then the teleprompter went off and she started like, first she froze and panicked because her brain app is empty. And then she turns around and was like, we got to do this. We only have 32 days and we are the underdog. Like, oh, I thought you were the incumbent who everybody loved and it was going to be a no brainer. Where's all the joy? Now you're the underdog. So she knows she's the underdog. She knows that she's going to get beat. Why are they doing this? I mean, there's a couple possibilities. If you have ideas, throw them up in the comments. I want to know. One suggestion I have is that they have the steal so set and they're so confident in the steal that it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. When they steal the election, then they can turn around and say, well, actually, obviously, when the American people heard her message, they loved it. They loved it. That's what they're going to say. Or they're going to like put a pillow over her face and like pop Hillary in or something at the very last minute. Because I just cannot, because why wouldn't they just do that? Why not just like to hell with what the American people want at this point? Like, what is it that's making them okay with putting her out there like this? I don't know. And and everybody keeps saying that they're going to try to go after Trump again. They're going to try to assassinate him again. And I don't know. I think there are fringe maniacs who will go after him, but I also think that if the deep state went after him, it would be even worse for Kamala and the Democrats. Because if the deep state, God forbid, hurt Trump and he was out of the race, what would we be left with? We would be left with a Vance and probably DeSantis ticket, because DeSantis is extremely popular and people really like Vance. All the people who wanted to hate him, they're like, wow, I actually kind of like this guy now. So you get Vance and DeSantis on a ticket. There's no more hate left. There's no more Trump hate left, right? Because the only people some people are voting for Kamala just because they hate Trump. So all those people would be like, okay, I'll vote for them. They're normal. They're good. And it would completely obliterate her. So I think he might be actually a little bit safe, to be honest with you. Because the Trump hate is the only thing that's getting Kamala some votes. Am I making any sense? Or is it Friday night and I've been working all week and I'm tired and I'm delirious? I don't know. That could be the case. Her running mate. I got my notes. See, I have notes. You know why? Because I'm not running for president. I'm just doing a podcast. I'm allowed to have notes. And I wouldn't even mind if she had notes. If she could put together a whole sentence. Tim Walz this week said in two separate speeches in California and Washington, one of the exact quotes was, I think all of us know the Electoral College needs to go. We need a national popular vote, because he wants to completely disregard what most of the American people want and just have, some highly populated blue states and cities run the show. All right, everybody knows why the Electoral College was put together, how it was put together, and how it protects a balance of power and make sure that people in with Montana actually have a say in how this country is run at the federal level. So he comes out and says that, and then immediately, I mean, can you even imagine the behind the scenes? Like, so now he says that, and Kamala is, even as stupid as she is, somebody's telling her at a minimum that she needs to be mad about this. I mean, how did they pick this putz to run next to her? I mean, yeah, they wanted somebody that made her look smart. It's Dumb and Dumber. Like, I thought that, like, they both make Joe Biden look smart and sharp, don't they? This guy is a mega putz, if there is such a thing. David says maybe they were all plants. Maybe these weren't random questions, but given to the audience member first, and they had prescribed answers. I wouldn't put it past them. Yeah, absolutely. Well, they had to be, because, what are the chances that someone's sitting there typing up, answers on the fly? It was probably what you're saying, that they were planted. But either way, somebody was giving her the answers, right? Even if the questions weren't pre-planned. But she can't handle hardball questions, so we know they were pre-planned. Where was I? Oh. So, Tim Walz, the putz. So Michael Strahan has him on for an interview, and on whatever morning show. And Strahan puts his coals to the fire. I'm going to tell you something about Strahan, though. He can go scratch, and I'll tell you why. He was a few weeks ago. Did you see that clip when they had the little boy drag queen come out and skip out dressed like a girl and do a sexy dance on a morning talk show in America? And Michael Strahan's like, "Wow, you're so amazing. Good for you. Like, up your Strahan." Sorry, I have no love for him anymore. Not that I had any really big love for him anyway, but like any potential love, gone. You're in with the devil. You're in with the demons. Have a good time. So now here we have devil friend Strahan talking to Tim the Putz. Check this out.
Go back to something you said on Tuesday. You said, I think all of us know the Electoral College needs to go. But the campaign came out later that night, and they said that's not their stance.
Yeah. Well, it's not the campaign's position. And the point I'm trying to make is that there's folks that feel every vote must count in every state. Mm-hmm. And I think some of folks feel that's not the case. Our campaign does that. And the point I'm saying is I'm in 5 states in 2 days. We're out there making the case that the campaign's position is clear, that that's not their position. Their position and my position is to make sure that everybody understands their vote, no matter what state they're in, matters.
So that's something that you and Vice President Harris disagree on?
I have spoken about it in the past, that she's been very clear on this, and the campaign, and my position is the campaign's position.
Okay, he just gave new meaning to the word word salad. He must be hanging out with Kamala a lot. I mean, he just. Have you ever caught, this is like a kid in the middle of doing something really bad, and they just, there's some children who will just stand there and lie and talk in circles and make up stuff like, yeah, well, there was a spaceman here, and he was the one who dumped that can of paint on your rug, and then I was just here to clean it up, and whatever nonsense it is. Like, that's what that is. This guy just, he disagreed with himself. He disagreed with the campaign. Then he agreed with the campaign and agreed with himself. Like, wow. Wow. I mean, these are really important jobs that these people are going for. Like, we have completely lost the thread on what it means to run this country. It's just a big corrupt cesspool of evil geniuses and half-wits who do the evil geniuses' biddings. That's it. Like, I bet Kamala, with her 60 some odd thousand Tiffany's necklace that she wears and her $700 belt buckle, like, I hope it's all worth it, because you've completely destroyed America. She's been bought. Ugh. But like, at some point, don't you wake up and be like, guys, they really are making a fool out of me? Like, does she have those moments, do you think? That moment of clarity where she gets a little bit of shame and says, maybe I'd like to just not do this anymore and go be a decent person for a minute. I know. Stupid idea. Of course she isn't. She's like, where's my next Tiffany? Where are my Tiffany earrings? Where are my Tiffany earrings? Oh, so, you have people like this destroying the country. And I'd like to read a little bit to you from, I have to turn on the light, an extra light, because my eyes are going to hell. But this is just a little bit from the Declaration of Independence. Now, as you may recall from your high school or later days. The Declaration of Independence includes a list of grievances that the colonists had with King George III. He was a big bully and he wasn't treating them well. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's actually really long. I'm just going to read a few of them because it's stuff that we're not only seeing from the Harris and Walz, and we'll call it the Biden camp also, but our government in general is stepping all over our rights or trying to. Look at what we're hearing from Kamala, from Hillary Clinton about limiting free speech. They legit want to like police what we say on social media. I mean, they've been trying that for years, but they at least used to pretend that they weren't doing it. But now they've indoctrinated enough young people to believe that hateful or hurtful things should be illegal, that they're actually getting support for that. Isn't that something? Like, that's nuts to us olders who look at the Constitution as, you know, our earthly, you know, governmental Bible to keep us free. I never in my life would have thought that I'd see a day when Americans were fighting to have our rights abolished. All right. So here's what the founding fathers were mad about. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. Oh my God. Can you think of the way the FBI, the DOJ, they go after pro-lifers for peaceful protests. Look what they did to the J6ers, for God's sake. Look at how the DOE has this new guy. Joe Biden just appointed him last year. He's a deputy secretary at the DOE, and he's basically the book ban czar. So people like me who want to get pornography removed from children's hands in schools, this guy has a place where other people who want to keep the pornography in the kids' hands can file a civil rights complaint, because it is a civil rights and First Amendment infringement to not allow children to have pornography. These people are sick. So all these new offices that they're adding, all the DEI offices and every government agency has this like multi-volume DEI policy with language, the inclusive language that you have to use. And you got to use your pronouns now. Get bent, pronouns. For quartering large bodies of armed troops among us. To me, that sounds like drug cartels who have been allowed to set up shop here in America and intimidate our citizens and poison us to death. That's what our current quote unquote King George III is doing. For taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, like border laws, maybe, like maybe valuable laws like anti-theft laws. But now if you steal up to $1,000 in some places, you can just keep it. Don't worry about it. It's yours now. You earned it. You earned it with that walking in there and taking it, but with Butterfingers, sticky finger. What is it? Sticky fingers. What else? He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. Tim Walz, the guy running for VP. Look at what his towns in Minnesota during the Ferguson riots, they burned. They watched them burn. And his wife gave that interview. She was like, we opened the windows so we could smell the burning. Like it was cathartic. People's life savings, their entire businesses, anything they ever built were burned to the ground. People were killed by rioters. Let's put that guy in charge. Yeah, let's do that. And the woman who's running tried to raise money for bail for all the rioters. I'm talking about Kamala, that piece of. Oh, what else? This list, you know what? I'll spare you the rest, but this list is very, very. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, like when Governor Greg Abbott in Texas was trying to enforce his own border laws, and Biden Harris came in and fought him on it. this Declaration of Independence led to a revolution. But the people back then appreciated freedom more because they had lived without it. The people back then were sturdier. They were made of better stuff than most Americans are today. Most Americans today won't even open their mouths to say something that might offend somebody, that might get their kid in trouble on their Little League team. They won't open their mouth at work. I can't tell you how many people I know in the public and private sector who call me and tell me things that I can't say here because I promised them that I wouldn't. And I've said to them, if you ever give me the green light to talk about this publicly, please, I'm asking you, come to me first. I really would love to. But I'm talking about like government waste of proportions we can't even imagine. I mean, look at what we already know. I'm talking about people who know for sure that whites are being discriminated against purposefully for jobs. Crimes, very violent crimes that are not being reported because they involve powerful families. I get a lot in here. And I'm sure a lot of other people do. I'm not a rat, though, and I'm not throwing my people under the bus. But if they're ever ready and they want to get the nerve, but why? I want to say to them, like, don't you, like, you could make a difference. You know stuff. You could make a difference, and they're just afraid. And so the revolution that happened in the 1700s, I mean, I don't think we have it in us anymore. And then I talk to people, they're like, yeah, we do. And I'm like, I don't know. Who? The young people? They're scared to death. They're scared if you hurt their feelings, they cry themselves to sleep. Gen X? Way too comfortable. Way too comfortable. Way too many of us are way too comfortable. Again, afraid to even speak. Never mind really stick it to this government. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know how bad it has to get. But we got to start having these conversations with people and really making them realize how uncomfortable they're going to get. You think you're uncomfortable now? This isn't just like a little phase like, oh, the Carter administration, things got tough. We're heading down a really dark road. I'm sick of people being afraid. Girls aren't safe. Native Patriot. Hey, Maurice. He says girls aren't safe in America until men stand up for them instead of against them. And women begin supporting their men instead of competing against them. God, from your mouth to God's ears. That is right. Well, feminism has ruined this country, and it's ruined relationships between men and women. Oh, I wish I had the clip ready. It's not here. It was a European clip, but we see the same thing here. So man, wife, baby, they're pushing the stroller. Some creep on the street comes over, punches the baby in the face. You've all seen this clip. It's been going around all week. The man picks up the baby and starts walking away and like turns his back to his wife. So the bad guy walks the other direction, but now the man is holding the baby now you've left yourself completely defenseless. You've left your wife completely defenseless because your arms are occupied holding the baby. And then walk away and turn your back to your wife and leave her closer to the creep than you are. What kind of a man does this? But this is what we've done. We've taken men and beaten them down and turned them into little sissy Marys who are emotional when it's not really what's natural for them. And women have done that to men. And then, the woman is just standing there looking like she's not going to fight either, of course, because when push comes to shove, the boss babes stand behind whoever's toughest in the room. It's just a crazy, that video made me sick. I wanted to take that man and say, shame on you, putting your wife in that kind of danger like that by holding the baby. Like, go, how do you not kick that guy's ass? First of all, you just punched your baby. Anyway, I went off on a rant there. I don't know if that's where you were going, Maurice, but we are going to talk about quite a bit, actually, about something about women in just a minute, right after this commercial. I'll be right back, guys.
A movement that transcends politics, a vision for a stronger, united America. built on the belief that financial empowerment and political engagement can come together. Introducing the Trump token, America's cryptocurrency, a digital currency that embodies the spirit of innovation and the strength of American values. With a pledge to donate significantly towards Donald Trump's 2024 campaign, America's cryptocurrency. Coming soon. Visit thetrumptoken.com to learn more.
Visit thetrumptoken.com to learn more. I believe it's opening up soon. I think you can actually make a purchase now and learn all about this crypto. And they're going to be donating a lot of the money to the Trump campaign. So I would do it sooner than later. Anyway, thetrumptoken.com. All right, next. Back to women, Maurice, and the degeneracy that feminism has brought upon us, and weakening men with pornography and porn addiction has brought to us. We're in a situation where everybody's got an STD, everybody's getting abortions, sleeping around is normal, even though we know how harmful it is to everybody. For women, it creates emotional trauma, physical trauma, an inability to bond with a partner in the long term. Marriage has become disposable. And one really obvious symptom of this, and also a cause, because it's not helping, it's just exacerbating the problem, is the Call Her Daddy podcast. This is basically locker room talk for girls. That's how they built it initially. And it's just vulgar talk. And of course, Kamala Harris had to have her day on Call Her Daddy. And I know that this story is a little old. This was like last week's news. But you know what? I'm not done with it, because I am so sick of watching young women destroy their own lives and think that acting like a degenerate is cute. I was one of the early victims, I will say, of feminism. You know, it was very confusing growing up in the 70s and 80s as a girl, getting all these mixed messages about what was possible for us and what was good for us. And I look back now and I talk to women my own age, and a lot of us look back and say, wow, we were really we were lied, and we fell into this, like, you can follow all your dreams and you don't need a man nonsense. And it really hurt a lot of us in a lot of different ways. And we either, stayed single too long, or chose men that were wrong for us, or, made really impractical decisions. A lot of women I know have had abortions that they regret. I'm blessed that that's not me. And I don't judge them for it, because I understand. We also didn't understand, but those things are all regrettable, and they were looked down upon, and it's for a reason. It's because it's unhealthy for us mentally, physically, spiritually. It hurts your soul to sleep around and to dump the good guy, for the bad boy who just leads you down a path of destruction. But these girls, I'm going to give you a sample of Call Her Daddy. And I'm sorry, if you have kids in the room, get them out of the room. You're warned.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't had I guess I'm trying to think back to college. I feel like was Whiskey Dick Central. Have you ever had a weird experience with Whiskey Dick?
So as an Italian, we call it al dente dick.
Oh my God.
And that needs to be normalized.
Wait.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's a little.
All right. There's more. Al dente. Yeah. And that needs to be normalized. No, it doesn't. Class and grace, chastity, dignity needs to be normalized again. Could you imagine being this girl's parents and having them talk like that? Now, I'm not saying women never talk inappropriately or with vulgarity amongst ourselves, but we always kept it in private. And now that I'm older and I'm just so disgusted with the whole feminist movement and everything it stands for, I don't even, I would, if somebody starts talking like that now, I just I scram, I get out of the room, because I find it repulsive. But is this an epidemic of no fathers? Is that what it is? Is this all, a single mother problem? Is this just, societal problem, a media problem? what's going on in schools, teaching, children to talk about vulgar things so casually. I don't know. But what I do know is that no presidential candidate in their right mind belongs on that podcast. No one in any dignified position in this world belongs on that podcast. But of course, this schmucko went on the podcast.
Pose this question more to you and the Daddy Gang, but one of the biggest conversations in this year's election revolves around a woman's body.
Yep.
I want to take a moment, and can we try to think of any law that gives the government the power to make a decision
I know what you're going to ask.
about a man's body? Let's just pause.
No.
Is there any law?
No.
All right. No. I know everyone has already pointed out the draft. Yeah, that's the most obvious one. And pretty much every other law in America where they control what we do, from how we drive our cars, under the speed limit, to getting a permit to go fishing. Yeah, men are controlled as much as women. But what really, bothers me the most is that these women, they laugh and giggle about abortion and call it a right, but they have zero regard for the rights of the child right up to birth. And they'll say, there's no late-term abortions happening. Of course there are. There are 5 states where it is happening all the time. In Tim Walz's own state of Minnesota, children are being children who are aborted late term and survive the abortions are being left on cold tray tables in hospitals to die. And he recently removed the requirement for doctors to even report those births because it was a little troubling and it made them look bad. These women just have no scruples whatsoever. And the other thing, when it comes to men and abortion, what about the man's right to his DNA that is growing inside a woman? Does a man have no say in whether or not his own child gets to live? I find it appalling that these women don't take that into consideration. The selfishness of the feminist movement is so embarrassing to me as a woman. Like, I feel like I gotta walk around and being like, I'm not a feminist. I'm not a feminist. Please don't think I'm a crazy modern feminist. I can be strong and accomplish things in this world without killing children and trying to feminize men. I don't need to put you down to do good in my own life. And I know young women who have wonderful fathers. I mean, men who worked their whole lives for them, gave them everything, beautiful home, beautiful vacations, good educations. And these young women sit and talk about men. They're so bad. I'm like, oh my God, like, how do you not see what's in your right in front of you? This man and your uncles who I know personally, who have treated you like a queen, with nothing but love and respect. So I don't know if they're just more prone to being brainwashed, because that's what it feels like to me. You have to be brainwashed to be that hateful. What do we got in the comments here? Yeah. Seth, that's beneath the office of the President of the United States. Absolutely. But so is Kamala. I mean, Kamala started her career with whoredom, right? I mean, so it's fitting that she's there or it ends there. But I really I would like to forgive her for her gross youth of sleeping with a married man. I'm sorry. I judge people with that. Yeah, no, I take issue with that. Everyone, oh, Donald Trump, he's been married 3 times. Like, this woman was sleeping with married men. Like, that's some low stuff right there. She was the side chick. It's gross. But I would like to think that she could be a grown adult who looks back and cringes at her past, as many of us do with our pasts. Instead, no, she's going right into slut school. with the call her daddy people. Speaking of wretched women, Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Minnesota, how this woman got voted into anything. I haven't liked her for a long time. I mean, during COVID, she was so restrictive to her people. They couldn't even buy seeds. You couldn't buy seeds at the store if you wanted to go in your own backyard and grow a garden. Like she was a psycho nut. But I'm starting to see something in her eyes now, that this is where I sound like a psycho nut, that it makes me think that she's like either lost her mind or she's been just possessed by a darkness that is next level. And she's also been out a lot in the public and making a lot of statements and doing little skits, a lot of skits online, like these cutesy little things where she has perfect hair and makeup and she's very in love with herself all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on with her, but this BS that she put out yesterday, I actually got mad, or it was yesterday or the day before, on Twitter, and I was like, please stop posting this. Like I had to walk away and get off of Twitter for like half the day because everyone was posting this video, but I think I'm beginning to become desensitized to it. Take a look. Look at her in her camo Harris Walz hat, feeding a chip to this girl, mimicking the Holy Communion that Christians take in church. Like that's just evil. It's just evil. American Christians have, for the entire length of this nation's existence, been exempt from Christian persecution. We were living as Christians, and from the very beginning of the church up until now, in places in Africa, terrible Christian persecution. In Ukraine, Russia, there's Christian persecution all over the world. We've been exempt from it, and we've been allowed to live peacefully and worship peacefully. And now, the Democrats, all they do is crap on us all day long. And for a governor of one of these 50 United States to openly mock Christianity with a Dorito, I can't even describe how it makes me feel. I can't even describe. It is so repulsive and off-putting, and I can't think of anything else than these people are just the darkest, most evil end times creatures that have been predicted to come. This is what we've been told in the Bible is going to come, and we're seeing it play out. Even if her name isn't in there, it's people like this. And there's the CHIPS Act that she said that's what it was about. And she said that, now she's so happy that everyone's talking about the CHIPS Act. No one's talking about the CHIPS Act, Gretchen. No one cares. We care that you're mocking Christians and you're waking Christians up, which is a good thing, because even lapsed Christians are kind of going, this is getting a little old. This is getting a little old, because lapsed Christians, they're like, I'm having my fun, and I'll get holy when I'm old, like my grandma. Like people still have it in the back of their heads, even people that aren't practicing the way they should be. You got Squatch Hunter says, I'm telling you, look at her hand. She is a boy. Are you talking about Gretchen? Pause it after she gives her the Dorito and take a good look at her hand and figure it out for yourself. Those are man hands. Okay, I'm going to turn off the volume and we're going to do this together. Let's go. Okay. I mean, this here, I see it. It is a man hand. Oh, damn. Look at it. Look at her. You're bugging me out, because I hadn't really looked at her like that before. What does everyone else think? Okay, maybe she is a dude. Why not? Why wouldn't she be? They care more about dudes in dresses than they do about real women. Does she have kids? Anybody know if Gretchen Whitmer has children? I mean, she's not manly like Michelle Obama manly. But she could be. Pass. All right. Squatch Hunter, you're hilarious. I want to talk again about how women are not safe in this country and girls. So I don't know if you are familiar with Boston. This is the museum. Nice picture of the Museum of Science. It's one of the major tourist attractions in Boston. Every school child in the whole state goes there almost every year on a class trip. It's big. It's awesome. There's some, certain attractions, like they have this like electrical display where you go and you could sit in this like room of lightning, and then they have these chicks that live there. They're always hatching, and you can go and watch eggs incubating and chicks being born live, and they have amazing displays. It's actually in Cambridge. So Boston is on the Charles River. One side is Boston, the other side is Cambridge. So this is on the Cambridge side, but it's known as a Boston tourist attraction. A lot of people don't know about Cambridge. Well, back on Sunday of this week, a 15-year-old girl was there with a friend of hers, and she went in the bathroom, and there was a 24-year-old man named, what was his name? Yandri Hernandez. We don't know a lot about him, except that he was 24 and he was hiding in the bathroom, and he attacked the girl and tried to restrain her. We assume he was going to rape her, but she, thank God, fought, screamed, and got away and ran out. Now, this was not an all-gender bathroom, to the best of my knowledge. There are all-gender bathrooms at the Museum of Science. Of course, you have to have those at a children's museum in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Trust me. They were like, this is like ground zero for unisex bathrooms. All right, this place, this town. It is the we called it, when I lived in Boston, we called it the People's Republic of Cambridge, San Francisco East. It's where Harvard is, Harvard and MIT. I mean, it's woke. The whole town is woke as it can be. So, of course, they're not taking any illegals over there, though. So why a children's museum needs unisex bathrooms at all? It is only because it's in Cambridge. So this is the creepo who was in the bathroom. Now, this guy, apparently he was hanging out in the lobby for an hour. And at some point, he got up and went into the ladies' room. Now, we find out later that the guy's homeless. He's a drug addict. This guy was not probably there looking sharp and clean, dressed nice, looking like he's waiting for his family. He probably looked like a homeless drug addict. But in Cambridge, you're not allowed to say to the homeless drug addict in the library at the Children's Museum, hey, pal, what are you doing here? Come on, let's go out. Because you don't want to hurt his feelings. And he looks a little Hernandez-ish, so, we don't want to act racist. So instead, we're just going to let the homeless drug addict hang around the Children's Museum. And then when he walks into the ladies' room, we're also not going to say anything. And then a 15-year-old girl gets attacked. Okay. Wokeness is ruining this country. These people will still vote blue, no matter what. I would be shocked if Massachusetts voted red. I'd just fall over. I'm telling you, they're still so crazy there. It's unbelievable. He is being charged with strangulation, kidnapping, and assault and battery. His defense attorney, this girl named Lorraine Bellastrock, she said it was an isolated incident and he needs help. And it's really only because he's on drugs and homeless. That's why it happened. So we should just excuse him until he goes and stalks another 15-year-old girl, maybe one who can't fight so hard, and rapes her, maybe kills her. Oh, and then we can do something about it, because earlier this year, he's already been arrested for breaking into a car, public use of drugs. What was the other thing? Oh, I forget. There was something else. He the whole litany of crimes. He's already been in and out of jail, in and out of the court system several times this year. We're just going to keep letting him out because we don't want to hurt his little Hispanic feelings. Yeah. So this is a museum that I used to recommend that you go to, but they also now have Pride Week for children during, Pride celebrations during Pride Month, where they focus for children, teaching them about genders and sex and sexuality, because nobody in their right mind is talking to children about who they're sexually attracted to. So the Museum of quote unquote science, saying you could be any gender you want, they could fall into the river now. I used to love that place. I took my son there all the time. We had a membership. We would go there when he was little. It's a cold winter day in Boston. Let's go to the museum. Nothing else to do. Take his little friends. Go to the museum. See how the chicks are doing. Never going back there again. All right, guys. That's all I've got for you tonight. It's 9:45 and I'm losing my voice. I am so happy that you came. Thanks for hanging out with me in the comments here. I take our culture back. I can't. Yeah, Q-Tip. I can't. I want to touch on that, because there are so many ways that we can take our culture back in our homes and in our circle. Eat dinner together with your family. Go back to the dinner table. No phones. Every night, prioritize it. And if you live alone or whatever, do Sunday dinners with the extended family or neighbors. Again, no phones. Get around that table together. That is one way to do it. If you have children, take their phones away. Yeah, it's hard. Taking our culture back is not going to be easy. People are like, oh, that's going to be hard. We're going to fight. Oh, tough shit. Excuse me. You want your country back? You want your culture back? You want things to be normal again? Let's talk to each other, do things together, touch grass, make a puzzle. I know that's boring, but it's life. And when the grid goes down and World War III starts, your kids, if you get them used to living without their phones now, they're actually going to be better off. They're going to survive better than everybody else. Teach them how to read a map. Be extra polite. And teach your children manners. Make sure that your boys know that when they go on a date with a girl, that they walk on the street side of the sidewalk. There are these little pieces of civilized behavior that have been lost. And anything else you can think of, teach your children to call their grandparents. Make them. No, now. I'll call her tomorrow. No, now. Call her. Say hello. 2 minutes. Say hello to grandma. Tell her what you did today. It'll make her happy. What else? What else can we do? Any other ideas to take our culture back? Hang an American flag in front of your house if it is not already hanging. If you have an elderly family member who loves this country and there's not a flag hanging in front of their house, buy one and hang it for them. That's another way to take our culture back. Let everyone know how much we love that flag and what it represents, really. What if you don't have anyone, just a cool dog? You have people. Find people. Find somebody else who only has a dog. There's a lot we can do. Go back to church. Every week. You don't want to get up early. Tough. Get up. Go to church. You'll meet people. You'll hear something good. You will not walk out of there. Don't go to woke church. Go to real church. They tell you that you can be any gender you want, that God loves it all. No, he doesn't. It's an absolute lies and twisting the scripture, which the scripture warned us against. I'm sorry about your rug. Stand for the flag always. Yes, stand for even if it's in your living room. National anthem comes on, stand up. Get up. Always take your hat off. Put your hand on your heart. That's a good one. Really good one, Jonah. These little things will send a message to your family and to the greater public. You know, get dressed up, wear a flag lapel on your pin, and some psycho is going to hate you for it. But it's also going to create camaraderie. You know, I was walking my dog. One of my neighbors had a giant flag hanging at the back of his garage. I hadn't met him yet, and it said "Gun Owners for Trump." And I went, "Hey, what's up?" I walked up. I started talking to him. A little bit of BSing. I'll see him again. You know, I love the flag. It was a conversation piece for us. You know, and I'm starting to build community here with people who have American flags or Trump flags, and you know, we're getting to know each other, and that's how you do it too. But you got to be out. You got to, you know, we got to have a patriotism coming out day for people who are afraid to show their patriotism. That's what we should do. We should make that a holiday. We should do it on National Coming Out Day and take over LGBT Coming Out Day and make it Patriotism Coming Out Day. I've had worse ideas. No, that is not Jonah Hill. That is not Jonah Hill. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to end with a scripture. This one's dedicated to Gretchen Whitmer, the demon who, as I learned tonight, is suspiciously masculine. Galatians 6:7. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever one sows, that will he also reap. Ain't that the truth? She's going to pay for that. We may not get to see her pay for it, but she's going to pay for that harshly, if she doesn't get her act together. All right, guys. I am so happy. Thanks again. Great night. And God bless all of you. God bless America. See you next week.